Hey guys, it's your boy Pat. Welcome back to the next episode of the Hollow Down Cigar Lounge. Got your boy Justin over here. What's up, my man?
What's going on, brother?
So, no Chad today. We kicked him out of the show, nixed him. Not really. He's actually off doing fun things that we're not going to talk about today because we're going to let him talk about it next time he's on the show. But we figured it would be a great excuse to do a show over a cigar that only Justin and I had the pleasure out of our group getting this cigar. So it kind of made sense using the excuse of Chad being busy to just do one ourselves again. You've seen us do a couple of these in person where I go see Justin, but we're doing remote because life schedules suck.
That's right.
So what we're going to smoke today, and this is pretty good, almost like a Super Toro, Grand Toro, but not quite a full Grand Toro. It's a bigger than normal Toro. So this is a special custom cigar that was given to us at NFG25. This is, let me pull you up and let you show this. This is the Texas Cigar Roadshow custom smoke. Doesn't have a name or anything like that, but this is the cigar of the show. If you don't know anything about Texas Cigar Roadshow, Mr. David Skelton and his partner do some pretty cool things we'll mention in a minute. But he gave us this stick just to let us explore it and try it out in a pure conversation that we had at the event. And Justin and I figured it'd be a damn good excuse to actually smoke it on the show so all of you out there can hear about it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Let's now, I normally don't because I'm really bad about not smelling every cigar, but you told me I should, and let me see here.
I'm getting leather and honey.
I get honey immediately,
Mm-hmm.
but there's almost like a chocolate essence, and I don't know if I want to say like a breadiness, but I don't want to overreach there, but there's something.
The cold draw is giving me raisin and chocolate, so almost like a chocolate covered raisin, but not to that.
Okay. And I know I've said raisin's one that I almost never pick out when you do, so that is very possible. Anyway, let's cut and light these and see how it compares to our pre-light thoughts.
I'm going soft flame. That's what I've been doing lately, so I may take a minute, but boy, does it light perfectly.
Did you do a V-cut on yours as well?
Yeah, sure did. Yeah, that's what I've been doing a lot lately, V-cut and soft flame. Just for
V-cut is always my number one for most cigars. There's a couple shapes or sizes or whatever that I may do something different, but this is torching very easily.
Yeah, same for the soft one. As Kirby likes to say, it's a ritual, a slow process.
You know, he does not know who we are, but we reference him a lot, so he's got some good content out there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting first draw. I can't tip you off to it yet, but that wasn't what I expected.
I'll let you know here in just a minute.
And if you are new to cigar smoking, you can do what I did, and you can do the torch. Nothing wrong with that. But there is a ever-loving ritualistic essence that Justin is referring to with a soft flame. It does take longer to light. There's more patience involved, but you greatly lessen your chances of an accidental harsh first pull. It's one of the Sahakians over in Davidoff, London that I believe it's one of them that say it first that helps you get your first virgin puff, I believe is the phrasing they use.
Yeah, that's what I like when it says virgin puff.
So you're not getting any extra butane, and there's clean butane out there. There's professional butane. There's filtered butane, but it's still a gas. So you've got it in your soft flames as well, but it it doesn't force it in. So see what Justin's first thought is here.
Oh, interesting. Slightly pepper.
Yep.
Definitely leather up front.
Yep. That was my number and two. My number 1 and 2 was leather and pepper. I smell the honey, don't taste the honey, but I got just straight leather and pepper.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a bright pepper, like almost a maybe a white pepper if you're trying to correlate colors and strengths here.
Yeah, it's definitely not a black pepper. It's a sharper, like you say,
Yeah.
white pepper.
Like to me, red pepper is like the punchiest one, and it's not to that point. So it's kind of that middle ground.
Yeah, I always get red pepper with like habanos.
Oh yeah.
You know, black pepper usually is with Maduros or Maduros.
Mostly Maduros. But on that note, let me tell you what's actually in this cigar. So this, to my knowledge, unless it has happened since we recorded this in our delay in editing, this isn't published anywhere. This isn't, something you're going to go, buy on your big sites. This is, I know David Skelton's got different versions of why he hands this out, whether it's at events or talk shows or whatever. But this is coming straight from him. So the wrapper is a hybrid Habano and San Andres. The binder is a straight San Andres. And the filler is a mix of Jalapa and Ometempe Viso. So it's, which might explain what you just said about the Habanos getting certain peppers, but it's not quite going that far because it's kind of got this hybrid blend to it. So it's going to be a little bit different than we would normally expect, I would think, with just a straight Habano.
It's really good. It's got that chalky smoke that we've been coming across lately, which I like.
Yeah, I think all of us, at least in our group, like that. And I know we're early on, but construction feels great. So I'm unaware. I did not ask where these are made. In the conversation I had with them, I just wanted to know what was in it. So wherever these are being made, solid construction. And we can get lucky enough to have them on the show in the future, we'll ask those questions. But
yeah, it's a beautiful wrapper.
It is. It's clean. It's like a lot of custom blends or project cigars, or however you word it, that put a paper band on there end up being cheesy. This is not. It's got their logo on it. If my reflecting light will, nope, that's not going to work. But it's got their logo on it. I had the close up of it at the beginning of the video if you need to back up and look at it again. But I like it. It's clean. It's efficient.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's really good.
But I'm slacking, Justin. So if we're smoking a cigar, and you reminded me of this right before we started, we're smoking a cigar in reference to the Texas Cigar Roadshow. What do we need to be doing?
We need to be pairing this with a tasty beverage.
Damn right we do. So if you do not know the Texas Cigar Roadshow, he does a fantastic job of doing something different where he doesn't just talk about the cigars. He does. But he does a pairing style show most of the time. All kinds of gambits. So me and Justin have different things here on purpose. So I'm pulling just... Man, that light is killing this. I know I say that every time. I'm sorry. I'm repetitive. Forgive me. But just 4 rows of straight bourbon. And that's because I think I've probably said it on the air. It's my personal favorite when it comes to pairing any cigar. So if it's a first-time pair for me, I usually go this way. What'd you pull up on yours, Justin?
So I went with the Whistle Pig 100% rye, aged 6 years.
Okay.
Very good drink.
That is a good one.
Lots of baking spice, wood notes. It's going really well with the cigar.
That's one that can almost, if you don't know what you're doing or don't know what you're pouring or drinking before it's poured, you can almost mistake that for a old classic Scotch in a way. If you're not,
Yeah, the rise in my
it's
no, go
not
ahead.
obviously, but just those extra flavors. It's a good one.
Yeah, the rise, in my opinion, they definitely go with the darker shade cigars. I wouldn't have a rye with a Connecticut or anything like that. I'd probably have like a rum with a Connecticut or a Cuban
Oh,
seed or
fact.
something like that. But anything that's bold and dark like that, I mean, this isn't really bold and dark, but the San Andreas, is medium
Right.
full.
And I didn't really know what I was going to expect because this isn't a cigar I've had before. Obviously,
Thing.
first time, one time thing here, and so I went Four Roses, just something I knew, so that way I could pull it out. And I will tell you, I told you I wasn't getting honey, but with the bourbon on the back of my palate, I can pull it back out again.
There you go.
Now, I'll tell you, while we let this kind of smoke and go down, and first impressions on this ash line, I know we're early in. I'm curious to see if that's going to hold true because that's a razor. Well, it's almost a razor line. There's one little bump on the back, and that's it. Curious to see what it goes down, but so
Mine is about the same. It's uneven at the bottom, but that's just because I took a draw, so it's gonna even
right,
itself out. But ash is nice, stacking
yep,
dimes,
it is stacking dimes, man.
or I guess I should say quarters since it's at a 54 gauge.
Yeah, I think I'll have to verify with him, and I'll overlay this if I get this, but it feels like a 54. I said there was no packaging, so I don't have the extra details that you would have in a boxed cigar, and it's a little bit longer than a 6 inch. So I don't know if it's a 6.5 or if it's one of those 6.3 ish in that ballpark, but it's little bit bigger than your standard Toro size. So
Yeah, I think you're right. I think 54. I said 56, but now that I'm the
if
feel
we're
of it,
not stacking
it's
quarters, we're stacking nickels. Either way, we're stacking something bigger than dimes.
either way, the construction is good. I'm
Either
very
way, the
impressed by
construction
the
is good.
cigar.
Absolutely. I may
Yeah.
have to reach back out to him if the rest of the. I'm saying this really early in the show, but if the rest of this cigar holds on like this is, I may reach out and figure out how I can buy some of these off of him.
No, I was just thinking the same thing.
So let's see if the rest of the cigar, hopefully,
It's well balanced. It's got plenty of spice, plenty of pepper. It's got good flavor to it. It doesn't fall flat anywhere. Like
agreed.
I'm not disappointed at all in this. And like you said, like show smokes or something that's not like a legacy brand. You never know how it's going to smoke. It could fall flat on its face, or it could be one of the greatest cigars you ever smoked. And this
Right.
one is right there in the middle. It's really good. No complaints whatsoever. And the draw is perfect.
Oh, the
Slight
draw is
resistance.
fantastic.
Like
Not too
Me
firm,
and
not
Chad
too
like
airy.
like a airy cigar or airy draw. Whether you like a little resistance, I think this is right in your ballpark.
It is. It's got the resistance, but it doesn't have that like cigarette resistance. Like if you're a cigarette smoker, you actually have to like pull it in.
Oh yeah,
I've not smoked cigarettes in a very long time, but that's too far. So you want to be able to pull, but just enough resistance that it makes me feel like my draw is pulling the ash in. So,
yeah.
but
Well, with an airy draw, like if you pull on it too hard, you're going to overheat the cigar. It's very
right,
nice and easy to be able to draw with no restriction, but having a draw like this where it's perfect. I
it
wouldn't I
is.
wouldn't change anything about it.
But speaking of NFG, so we got this cigar. And for those who don't know or haven't heard us reference it yet, that is Underground Cigar Shop in Fort Worth, Texas. That is their annual big cigar event. And Justin and I both met David at that event. He just happened to be sitting behind us in the hangout spot outside. And we were talking about smokes and shows and podcasts. And, he did exactly what I would do. Listened in, was like, hey, so started talking a little bit, and that's how we got these. He handed them to us to try out. But Justin and I, we do a little bit differently at events. He starts smoking event cigars a little sooner. I usually let them rest for a hot minute before I ever touch them, because most of those exclusives are pushed out annually, and by no fault of the cigar brand, sometimes they come out too quick. However, I kind of piggybacked with Justin because we got different things, and we both kind of smoked some of the event exclusive availabilities once. Like some of them, I got one, smoked it, put the rest up. So I wanted to see, go through some of these, because I think we both smoked a few of them, just to see what's, and I'll put screenshots up here if I, remember to do so when I edit. But what are some of the ones that you've had from NFG this year, the exclusives that may have stuck out to you?
Well, let's start off with the one that you know and I know, and that's The Devil Wears Khakis by Aganorsa.
I knew that was coming first.
Terrence Riley's handsome face all over it. That one was fantastic. I waited till the next day to smoke it, and that's when I messaged you. I was like, if you don't want those, let me know, because they're phenomenal. So that would probably be number one. It's just got a sweet bread note, baking spice. It was just all around.
And it had, if I remember, it had just enough. I don't know if I want to say pepper, but it was a little bit of a spark, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know how to word that.
And Aganorsa is usually pretty known for that spark, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it had just enough. But it was also a sweetness to it that I really enjoyed. Like, when you get sweetbread, it's always a very light, subtle one. This one was very strong, like a sweet dinner roll. The next one that sticks out to me is the Nomad Black Panther, or Panther, I forget. I think it's just called Panther. That one was phenomenal. That one was really, really good.
So
Pepper up front. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, but I just
you're good.
Thought we have not. You're about to speak of one that I haven't smoked, but the ones that I have, I figured I could also talk about it. I'll tell you what I put in my box pressed app here.
Okay, there you go.
So, to back up one section, the Devil Wears Khaki Pants, I actually gave that a 90. So that is one that I definitely agreed with you on. 4 out of 5 flavor, 5 on the draw, 4 out of 5 on the burn, and a 4 on the appearance, which was it was almost a 4.5 for me. So that's a 90 right there. So, but I piggybacked that with it. Now the Nomad, I know I didn't get any of those at all, because that was one of the last tables I went to, and they were gone.
Yep.
So I'll have to turn to you for this info.
Yeah, I got through the line a little bit earlier. I set down my stuff and headed straight to get the cigars. And I even heard the whispers. I was like, hey, Nomad and Zion, they're selling out really quick. And I didn't get any one of those brands last year. So I was like, make sure I got it. And sure enough, I think I got the second to last pack of the Black Panther, and the second to last pack of the Toasted Marshmallow, the new longer version.
I did get that one, the Toasted Marshmallow. I think that's one that I have not smoked yet. I haven't smoked all of them yet. I think that one's still on my list.
Have you had any of the Toasted Marshmallows? Any of them?
No, have not at all.
So they're a shorter smoke. They're like 4 inches, where this one is like, I think 6. I think it's 6. I think it's Toro size, but it's still that small ring gauge. So the shorter smokes are phenomenal. I love them. They only come out once every so often. So this one is just a longer version of that. And the flavor's on point. It's really good. Besides that, I was really looking forward to the Penguin, Murcielago Penguin.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm a huge Murcielago fan. And that one was really good. Well balanced. I expected more punch and chocolate, but being that it's a natural wrapper, it didn't have that. Not saying that it fell flat anywhere, but it was definitely good all around.
So that one was one that me and you had a slightly different experience, and I love the Murcielagos by Espinosa. So everything in my core says that either it just was smoked too soon, or I just got the one fluke in the bundle, and it was still good. You know, for me, anytime I rate anything over an 80, I consider that a routinely smokable cigar. And I gave that one an 82, but it was mostly because of the burn. I was getting some horrible burn. Not enough to keep me from smoking it, but I don't think I was getting as much of the flavor as I probably should because it was there. It just didn't seem like it was pulling out, but I was having all kinds of burn issues when I smoked that one. So,
I think they need more age because I had the same experience. Mine was
okay.
probably rated about the same way. I enjoyed the cigar, don't get me wrong, but it was lacking some things. For it having the Murcielago label and it being Espinosa, I expected more, but I still enjoyed it if that made sense.
It makes sense completely.
So I think those guys just need more age. So I'm saving the rest. I'm probably going to wait at least 6 months before I spark up another one.
Shoot, I have no problem waiting. I've still got a handful of cigars on my list from NFG the year before. So, you know, kind of smoke some, set some back. So I think I'm going to let these sit for a little while before I touch them. Unless you hit that 6 month and you say it's, doing much better. If you don't say anything like that, I'm probably going to let them ride.
Right. No, I have a few left over from last year. I have the Warfighter. Yeah, same thing.
Just update. I know we're both clumsy, so I'm going to update as we can here
Look at
because
that.
one of us is going to drop this.
But we're right at the same mark. Look at that.
Pretty dang close.
What was I saying? Yeah, they need more age. But I feel like they'll be good after a while.
Now, speaking of the Nomad, I know there's. Did you get any of the Elysian Fields by Ezra Zion this year?
I did. That was the next one I was going to bring up. That one was phenomenal. I didn't get to try last year, so I made sure that I got this year. And yeah, your reaction, everyone else says the same thing. They're like, oh man, last year's was amazing. You got to get this one. So I went and made sure that I got the, how do you say it again? The
Elysian Fields.
Elysian Fields. The Elysian Fields is a great cigar. I've already had 2 of those, and I bought a 5-pack. So I'm gonna let the other
being
ones rest for a
from
while.
an East Texas kid, you should know how to say Elysian Fields. I'll just leave it at that. But hey, here we are. No,
East Texas born, not East Texas raised.
I know it. Just giving you hell because that's what we're good at here. In fact, let me check my list here before I say something out of pocket.
Well, while you're doing that, this is what I like to do with pairings: is that I take a sip, take a draw, which is really good. Then, after I do that, I do this.
Yeah, because that definitely mixes your palate and your sense of smell.
That was really good. Now, did you get that awesome cigar falling? Or cigar, that awesome
I hope
cigar
so.
ash?
We're
It
in
is
this.
all over me.
I hope I got it. I looked
that was-
away and I personally missed the moment it happened. So
I don't know if I hit my glass. Let me check my glass. I think I'm good. Or if it just fell off. I think it just fell off. But I mean, even after it fell off, it's burning nice and good.
Yeah, by a pairing, we don't mean put the ash in the drink. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm covered in ash, and I'm just going to sit in it like a dirty diaper.
There we go. So I have. You may have to make this worth my while, or we may have to do a trade. But I have exactly 3 left of last year's Elysian Fields. If you might be interested in trying one,
Right on. Well, I can trade you a Nomad Panther. That's an even trade.
That is an even trade.
All right.
And not like either one of us or anybody in our group really need much persuasion to do any trade of any kind. But
right, exactly. Chad told me that he's waiting till after PCA to trade with me again, and I still need to do one with Ryan. I still need to do one with Pruitt and another guy. Oh, and I still need to send my smokes to Hayden. I haven't got a chance. I've been so busy lately.
Man, get on that. You're gonna let him see this show, and he's gonna be like, "Where's my smokes, man?"
Right. I'll make a list tonight.
Dude, I'm almost afraid to turn this on its side. This is incredible. Maybe like those. You ever seen those? Oh no, you have the ash stacking contests where
Oh, where they're like this.
they're all smoking like this. Yeah.
Yeah, Gordon, he smoked a Plasencia 1898 at the Cigar Lounge a while
Oh,
back, and he did the same thing. Well, it was almost the whole cigar. He's like, I'm gonna see how long I can get it, and so he was chimney smoking like this, and it literally went all the way down to here, and he was able to rest it on the stinky ashtray, and it stayed. And then I think
damn.
a waitress came by and bumped it off, and then it finally fell. But it was,
I mean
it was
that's a swag cigar that is fantastically constructed. So I
yeah,
get it.
I got one left. I'm gonna save that bad boy.
So the Elysian Fields I put it as an 87. So obviously I agree that's a banger cigar. Did you get and this is off the cuff, guys, so we didn't pre-plan a list on this here, so we're going from our memory bank here. I know that you didn't I'm not going to say that one yet because we're going to bring that up on another day. Did you try the Definition cigars?
No, I have not tried any of those yet.
So I had not, and I'll be frank, I had not heard of them. I have since gone to their website. They have a rather extensive lineup. There's like 10 or 15 blends that they have. All, different lines. Their bands are sick as shit. There's a couple, standard style bands, but a lot of them, they've got this intricate, very royal-esque fabric sewn type band, and the color. I don't know.
It's a garter belt.
That's it.
It's a garter belt for your cigars. That's how I look at it. I don't know if that's what they actually
exactly what
did,
it
but
looked like.
it's
exactly
yeah,
what it looked
exactly.
like.
Yep.
Well, I had
Eldon's wife, Carol. That's like her new favorite brand. She has all the blends. She loves that brand right now. She's on a Definition kick. There it goes. There it goes.
I might have just been off screen. We're gonna find out. But that's an homage right there.
Nice.
You can hold ash and it's still together. But the one I had was the Anilla, which I'm unsure if they brought it out just for the event or they brought it out at the event, because I did see that it had just come out as a pre-release in March. It was going to come out more of a full release in April. But, man, that one, I just, in fact, let me pull the rating, because I just smoked this one not too long ago. And just full of chocolate and coffee. I gave that one a 92, and I don't give many cigars a 90 and above.
And that was that Connecticut shade or Ecuadorian Habano?
I don't know. So it's all, I could not find, maybe because it's too soon, I was unable to find any details on the actual blend. It's all undisclosed at the moment. So if I find it by the time this is aired, maybe. But at as of when I smoked it, I could not find those details. And even when they mentioned it on their Insta, it was just the new blend. Like, they didn't talk about it there either. So
what was the color shade of it?
It looked more like a it very well could have been like a San Andres, or maybe one of the lighter Maduros. It was in the darker realm, but it didn't, I don't think it was a darker Habano because it didn't have that punch that you were talking about. It's either a darker shade Corojo or possibly a San Andres is where I'm wanting to think.
Okay.
Because it had that like dark, bold coffee, chocolate feel, had a little bit of spice, but definitely not, a bright pepper or a punchy pepper or nothing super intense. Something else I'm forgetting that we, I know there's no way that we got everything because that's ungodly at an event like that. But
I'm trying to think of what else.
And I haven't pulled all of them out, so I know there's a little thing.
the Warfighter Redacted cigar.
Oh yeah.
That one was really good. That was event exclusive. And if you follow their podcast now, that will no longer be sold anywhere. That was the one and only one-time event
Okay.
they would actually sell those cigars. So now, if you during events that they have, if you buy a certain amount of cigars, you get a certain amount of redacted cigars. So I think it's if you buy 10 cigars, you get one. You buy a box of cigars, you get two.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and it's a
Well, I
really
have a
good cigar.
chance of saying because I didn't get any.
Yes, I bought two 5-packs. So if you want to include that with our trade, I can include one of those. I don't mind sparing it. You know, cigars are meant to be smoked and give out to your friends and traded. I don't,
Yep.
Bogart stuff. I'm all about sharing because even Chad's like,
Right.
oh man, you don't have to give me none of those. I'm like, I want to. I want you to experience what I've experienced so we can
Exactly.
have the experience together.
That's the whole idea.
So I'll
And
throw one of those in there for you.
okay.
But I will say the first one I smoked was okay. The second one was way better, but they definitely need a little bit longer of age.
So
Probably
let it sit for a little
probably
bit.
under 6 months. They don't need a whole lot of aging, but I mean, it's already been what is today, the 6th, so they've almost been aging a month already.
Right. Let's see. Let me pull. I'm pulling up the actual list of stuff I got. Let's see if there's anything. Um,
Touch note on this cigar: it's got a lot of smoke output.
yes, it
You see with
does.
my black shirt, and it's in front of my face. It's
I've been
it's
noticing that it's gotten a whole lot.
It's not like a Nika Rustica or anything like that, but it's a constant, steady stream of smoke coming out, which is good. I feel like smoky smokes are very rich in body.
Yeah, for sure. Um.
Yeah,
Oh
this cigar is
man.
really good.
Oh, that's the one, man. How am I gonna forget this one? Black Star Line.
Now, see, I didn't have any of those.
That's the. Did you have any last year?
No, I've never tried any of them, but I did find out that they were made by Aganorsa, so that's good to know.
Yeah. So, Chicago-based company, black-owned company. Very good dude. I finally got the pleasure of meeting the owner, which is Eric Bay, at this year's event. Um, classy guy. But last year's, and now he, they have a line of their own, but several good smokes. But he makes an exclusive specifically for NFG. Doesn't really have a name because it's got their logo and it's just a different color trim each year. So, for naming purposes, last year's was literally just their NFG 24 exclusive. This year's NFG 25 exclusive. And that's how you reference it on the Instagram as well. But the 24 last year was, last year I rated the 24 to 87. It was real smooth, peppery, solid
Red band.
red band. But this year's had more of a blue tint to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave that one an 87 as well. It's milder in strength, had a Corojo wrapper and a 4-country filler mix. That was more of a baking spice prominent. And I'll tell you, for a guy that usually likes bolder, punchier cigars, I was still a big fan of that cigar. So I'm glad I got a handful of those. I think that might be all the ones that I've had so far. I've still got the
Oh, I know which one we're missing. Rojas. The Rojas El Pastor.
Oh, I didn't get any this year. They were gone, or I missed them. I'm not sure.
Well, then, buddy, that's another one I can throw at you.
We're gonna fix
and
the
if you have any of those Black Star lines, we can trade those because I've never had any of those. So
we can definitely do that.
I guess we're having a cigar trade quicker than we thought.
Apparently so. So
Might be a small one, but either way,
cares?
trade is a trade.
Trade is a trade. Knowing us, we'll find some other crap to throw in there anyway. So, Hey guys, live. This is exactly how friendly cigar trades happen. You start a conversation and it just rolls out for you.
Yep. Dude, a lot of the singles I have are either from you or basically all my singles, like the Coolador, I have my singles on top.
Yeah.
they're either trades or event cigars that are all singles. So
That's pretty
Cigar
much what I do.
Fest from Cigars International both years, because I still have some from both years.
Same.
And then NFG both years, I still have that. And then all the trades between all the cigars that Eldon has given us, yours, Chad's, like I've got so many singles, like, and yet what's funny is that I still go back to my go-to cigars
Oh
in my
yeah.
rotation. Every now and then I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll try that one, you know.
I mean, we all do it, and I think hell, it might have been on the show with Greg Free or James Garcia, one of the two. We were talking about our trades, and he was like, "Man, I'm always going to go back to my favorite core lines, but this is how you experience things. This is how you learn things, and you may like a cigar that I hate, but I don't know that until I try it. So, there's never a high expectation that every cigar we send each other that the other person's going to like.
Right.
It's the experience of things that you got your hands on that I didn't get my hands on, whether it be events or just didn't know about it or whatever.
Or special release.
Special release.
For instance, the Salida Red and Year of Duke. I know that Chad is going to include one of each in our next cigar trade. I'm really excited for that.
He did send me a Salida Red because we did a trade a little early, so I've got that one, and I'm anxious to try the Year of the Duke or Duke. I think I was correct.
That may be something that we can all review.
I think I'm saying this live now, but I think I was corrected by somebody that he pronounces it Duque. I'll have to verify that.
You know what? I think you're right. I think it is Duque.
So I wasn't sure, but I think it might have actually been Chad because he's met him up there because he's made his rounds through Secreto. So it may have actually been Chad that corrected me.
He's also been to Hawaii a few times.
I've seen him in a picture with Chris, so he would know.
Yeah. There's a little flakiness, but not horrible.
Boop. So I'm have you got, and I know we talk about transitions or not and all that gambit, but have you felt anything different, or is this one pretty much staying consistent for you as you go down?
Mostly consistent. The only thing that has popped up is maybe a slight little bit of coffee and a slight little bit of milk chocolate, but ever so slightly. Other than that, it's still leather prominent. The pepper has died down. I'm getting a little bit of cinnamon, maybe.
Maybe.
But other than that, but it stayed consistent. I'm trying not to puff too fast because it's such a good cigar.
It is actually a really good cigar.
What I appreciate most about cigars is the strength, because I'm here for the strength and the flavor. Those are the two biggest things, and the strength is there, and that's what I appreciate. If the strength is there but the flavor's not, I'll still smoke it. But if the flavor's there and the strength's not, I don't know, for some reason I gotta have my strength. I gotta have that good solid nicotine buzz that you get.
Yeah, if you smoked this without a band, you would not think that it was a project cigar at all.
Not at all. No.
Not at all. I won't do it, I won't do it on the air, but I could give you a list of cigars that are legacy brand or name brand cigars, if you will, that I would put this over in terms of construction, smoking ability, and flavor. It's absolutely great.
I'll agree with that. I'll drop some names. It's up there with like an Oliva Serie V.
Yeah.
It's up there with AJ Fernandez, Bella Artis. Not the Maduro.
Dude, that is a damn good reference, actually. Yeah. The way that the spice and that's on point.
Yeah,
that is on point.
Yeah, it's a really good smoke. I would expect this from a legacy brand. So I don't know who rolled it for him. I'm sure we'll find out, but
I'm definitely gonna have to ask now, and I'm kind of shaming myself for not asking, but I was more concerned about the blend. I didn't think to ask him who rolled it, but the construction is fantastic.
Yeah, and you know what? He may not want to tell you.
He may not. There may be a reason he didn't tell me, and that's okay.
And back to that flakiness, but then look right back to the dimes.
Right. Yep. Autocorrect.
Yep.
Better than T9 on your cell phone.
The construction is
Oh
fantastic on
crap!
this.
I just dated myself a little bit. I'm not old yet, but now I'm old enough to be referencing T9.
Dude, I will be 40 in 10 days. I'm feeling it.
If you don't know what T9 is, that means your first ever your first ever cell phone was a smartphone.
Right? Good old Nokia. Beep, 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 beep.
Man, best snake game on the market. But man, this is I've got a little bit you referenced that chocolate. I could smell that chocolate on the pre-light, but it's been there for me, I think, pretty much the whole time, but very subtle. But I'm still getting that leather and spice, that light pepper. I get the honey, but not every time, and I think that the pairing is helping a little bit with that.
Yeah, the rye brings out more sweetness and spice.
Yeah, for sure.
And you said you were drinking. What were you drinking?
Four Roses.
That's right.
Yeah, just the standard bourbon, not the single barrel or anything, just the straight. And
Straight is good. Four Roses is always a go-to.
and we've talked about cigar events, and I know Justin and I have specifically because we did a show pretty much discussing cigar events at length in the past. But a show like today, where we just randomly talking about the events or the cigars from an event we went to, that's the reason you go. He got things, I got things. People get different things. You can try them out. There's not many people whose budget is going to be able to afford every exclusive at every event. So you get what piques your eye, whether it's the color or it's the brand owner or it's the logo or the swag, whatever. Gives you excuses to try different things. And here we are having general conversation about, the ones that we've tried so far. And there's still a list of things from that event that neither one of us have tried. It'll take some time to go through those. But that's the other side of events, is just getting to have an excuse to discuss things that now you may or may not have in common. Additionally, to what you already talk about.
Yep, very true.
But not to
Lots
beat a
of
dead horse
smoke
here,
output.
but for a project cigar that doesn't have a band, dude, I cannot express how impressed I am with this cigar. And I know
I'm taken back by it. I'm
yeah.
I'm very surprised. I don't want to say like I expected this cigar to be shit, and I didn't want to offend David, but this cigar is phenomenal. Like
Well,
like you said, I want more.
it's the trend, and with the exception of like the Kevin Shahans of the world, who we've had the pleasure of becoming friends with, that does his projects specifically for a retail purpose. A lot of times when you have people that do project cigars for whatever purpose, they end up missing the mark somewhere, because it's not for straight retail. It's meant for a give out or an event or a promotional. So the budget is limited for whatever that purpose is. And we'll have to ask David a little bit more detail on this, but whatever his purpose was for this, or whatever the budget was for this is definitely not your traditional project style cigar. And
Oh, he hit the mark for sure.
hit the mark. Like if he was wanting to make a cigar line, and this would be fantastic, line release. Like it would not be in the budget. This is a $14-15 stick all day in my book.
Absolutely. I'm gonna ash so I don't ash on myself again. I've already got enough ash in my lap right now.
Right? Oh man, this is good stuff. Well,
But I haven't had to correct it at all. Like I've not
no,
one correction. It's corrected itself the entire way through.
this
I almost
section,
wanted to, but
this section right here is, and I say this specific wording, this is the absolute worst that this burn has been the entire time. And what is that? Like
Yep.
a 16th of an inch?
Yeah, and then it immediately corrects itself. same way with mine, and I just ashed like you've got that little bit right there. But
Yeah.
I bet as soon as I take a draw, it's going to correct itself.
Yep. And I use the word worst loosely because it's great burn.
Great burn, great draw, tons of smoke output, good on strength. I mean,
So
this is
an homage to the cigar and another show that's above and beyond and more experienced than we are. If you don't know Texas Cigar Roadshow, jump over to YouTube and give it a like. It's a different style of show than most of these cigar shows. It's different than what we do. It's different than what your big brand shows do. Casual conversation as well, which is what we like. It's why we do this random, shit talking that we do. I think it's more homey. I think it's more personable. And that's what David does with his team. So, plus you get the pairings thing. Not many people do that. We talk about it here, what we're pairing it with, but they do it on purpose for the show. Like the show is cigar with a pairing. Like that's his vibe. So
yeah.
If you're into that sort of thing and you want a little bit more nerdy talk on how things go together on the palate, by all means, go give that show.
I like this show just like your podcast. I went to number one and I watched all of them all the way through. Same thing did with David's podcast. I went to number one and he actually had a bunch of cigar shops that some are still open, some have closed down, but it was nice to see the history of places. And he goes to the shops, gets to know the owner, gets to show him the humidor, and he does pipe places, he does cigar places, but again, it's Texas oriented, so it's all around the DFW area. And he actually does a special episode with McAuliffe that's really, really interesting.
It's like the cigar version of which I guess this also links accidentally. But Guy Fieri's what was it? Dine-ins, drive-ins, and dives. Just where you go around and find these places that you may or may not have heard about, show you what they are, talk about their food, and give history about their place. And that he kind of does something similar sometimes.
That is a very perfect analogy. That is spot on, 100%, like to the T. He's got the old timey truck in his intro, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah,
that's his background, and it's good on a professional level, just like divers, drive-ins, and dines. Yeah, that's a good analogy. That's
and the accidental link is Guy is also cigar guy, so linked up with Espinosa on quite a few projects. So maybe more than I'm not aware of, but he's there in the world too. So good accidental link there.
Yeah, one episode they did brew and bee, which is that fig drink that I showed you guys on.
That's actually the last episode that I watched.
Yeah. So that actually made me go out and buy it. I was like, okay, I was kind of iffy about it, but then they raved about it. I love figs by themselves, but then to have a fig mead, it's made in Fort Worth. Like you can't beat it. And it was only $25.
Unless you said it and I just missed it, I didn't realize that it was made in Fort Worth.
Yep. Yeah, they have a distillery, whatever. I'm not sure how to make mead, but that's where their production facility is. That's in Fort Worth.
So,
and I bought my bottle at HEB, another Texas.
Oh, okay. Well,
but it's not in the beer section. It's not in the wine section. It's in like up above the cabinets where like specialty champagne and wines are. So it's completely separate from everything else.
Well, the band acted like it was going to come off, and then it split on me.
Mine's already good. I could loosen it up right now,
but it started to come off, and then it is. Which I'm not concerned too much about this. In this style of band, it's not a hit or miss for me whatsoever.
Yeah, I took mine off with zero issue.
Yeah,
no extra glue, which in this group we appreciate. We do not like glue.
Extra glue is a bane in my existence. You know how troublesome it is to be smoking a really good cigar, especially when reviewing it, and you either need a knife, a scalpel, or a torch to get your band off. Otherwise, it's going to rip off half of your wrapper. Not the problem.
Yep.
So, and I know it is.
Someone got a little glue happy.
Yep. Man, definitely going to be giving David props to this about the cigar, and
Oh yeah, I'll be messaging him myself as well, giving him
And
kudos.
he'll have a heads up because I told him that we were going to do this. That's not why he gave it to us. By all means, he did not give me this cigar to review. He gave it to us just to try because we were talking. We
Yeah,
decided that we were
to
going to do.
kind of touch on that story, you guys got here not too much later at the event, but a little bit later, and he just happened to post up at the table or a chair by our table, and I was
Right.
like, David, and he was like, he beats a lot of people. He doesn't know who I am.
Right.
I'm like, it's Justin. I asked if I could, come to a viewing of your show. He goes, oh yeah, dude, you can sit in the back and smoke a cigar and have the same drink we're having and experience the pairing while we're doing the show. And I said, well, now that you're talking about a show, me and my buddy do a podcast. I said he'll be here soon. And then, sure enough, you showed up shortly after. I said, this is the guy I'm talking about. His
Yep.
podcast. And then we got to talking about pairings, flavors, where they make tobacco. The guy has a vast knowledge of tobacco. He's a very smart man.
Did not take
And
long to
then,
figure that out.
and then it just naturally happened that he was like, you know what? Here's one of my smokes from my show.
Yeah,
And then we both looked at each other and we were like, it's review time, baby.
exactly. I mean, for giving me something new to try, especially when you didn't specifically ask me to review it, I'm probably going to now really want to review it because it's like, okay, so this is some honest feedback here.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's good old boy review. No
Exactly.
one's asking us, no one's paying us.
Nope.
It's just what we like to smoke and give you an honest truth,
Yep.
an honest review.
And so far to date, none of our smokes have been paid reviews. They've not been purposeful reviews. Now, people have given us cigars to review because we asked them, but that's a little different than somebody, trying to, sponsor and pay into a review. So that includes, the people who have sponsored us on our Cigars for Warriors Drive giveaways. That's a separate endeavor, and that has no bearing on how we review cigars. So I plan on keeping that trend alive. So I think it's more honest. And like I said, if you want the paid encyclopedia version, those are already out there on most cigars. So
Just another example of a good old boy truthful review. We've had no burn issues whatsoever. Now I'm having it.
at the end,
But that's only after I ashed it. So I think that might have been the issue. So I'm going to go ahead and correct it so the flavor stays on point.
and I've asked a few times and mine hasn't. So,
But
I
this
mean,
is the
if you're-
first correction at the end of the second third. So that's pretty good in my book.
and you think this is simple, but it very well could be just the fact of you taking the band off, because when you touch things and you squeeze a little bit, you can influence the temporary burn. It could be something simple like that.
It's also probably because I'm taking big draws because I can't get enough of it. It's a really good cigar.
It is a fantastic cigar. I know that's a broken record, guys. I'm sorry, but it's a damn good
We
cigar.
wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
No,
I tell you, it was a dog turd if it really was.
if you don't believe
We've had conversations off air where you guys all like a smoke, and I'm like, I don't like it.
Yep.
I don't like it. I'm not
If
going to
you-
mention any names, but
I've said this on this show. If you don't believe me, go back and watch episode 7 with me, Johnny Bravo, and Woot, because we talk about a cigar that tastes nothing but like a grave. So, to be honest-
is that the vintage?
no, the vintage has all of those have been fantastic. That was the Black Crown Menace,
Okay.
which talked about with Chad because he had one a couple years later and loved it. So either they changed their blend or whatever, because it's hard for me to say they got a fluke because all three of us had very similar tasting experiences on that cigar on that show. Fast forward 2 years, Chad, who has a very similar preference and profile that I do, he had a pleasant experience. So, 2 years is a long time to, anything could happen, but if we were doing our best not to trash it, but it's kind of hard not to.
Well, to touch on that, like the Black Crown episode we did, and it had chalky smoke, and we normally like chalky smoke, and you guys were like, "Oh, I love it." I didn't enjoy that chalky smoke from that blend. I love the cigar. I just didn't
Right.
like the chalkiness of
Chalkiness.
that particular. Yeah, but this chalkiness and like the heritage we did, the
Oh
AVO
man,
heritage, that one was a really good chalky smoke. I enjoyed every puff of that.
that is a fantastic chalky smoke.
So
And
that just goes to show you, just because you like a chalkiness, and I know that I don't know what word we're using, if that's the correct word.
seems right
Every
to me.
chalk, yeah, each chalkiness smoke is different. They're not all created equal, but this one
It's like, are you
is
getting a
good.
chalky smoke just because you're getting dry ash coming out, or are you getting it because there's some dry spice or dry cocoa flavor or something that's pulling through? It
Right. Like this one, I would describe it as a chalky leather,
mm-hmm.
and it's a good chalky leather.
Agreed.
It reminds me of like a dry champagne. That's the easiest way I can describe it.
Yeah,
Not
no,
the
that makes
not
sense.
the flavorness of a champagne, but the dryness of a champagne.
Where you have, that champagne, you have the good flavor, but it's not just overly juicy. Yeah,
Exactly. Yep.
I'm down with that. Well, I'm glad we decided to review this. Because otherwise we would have just smoked it individually and sent pictures and talked about it, via text. But I'm glad we did it this way because it's, like I said, if you'd have handed me this without the band, I would not have thought this was a show cigar. I would have thought it was, like an Aganorsa or an Oliva or,
This
shoot,
would have
maybe.
this would have found a deep hole in my humidor, and I would have smoked it probably a year later.
Right.
But being that it had so much background to it, and that it had a band, and the experience we had together, of course I was going to smoke it. But then,
Exactly.
like I said, we had the idea together that we were like, oh yeah, we're going to review this. I'm glad we did. So I agree with that.
But that time to wrap up and close out another fantastic show on the Hollow Down. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. We obviously some rambling, talking about a cigar show related smoke, talking about some random sticks that we have experienced at a recent cigar event, and just kind of getting a little light into the back of our brains on how it works, because this is how our conversations work off the show. We're talking about things we've smoked, things we like, things we enjoy. And if you've never done cigar trades, you also got that insight on how that happens too. So good way to experience new things if you have any friends or anything that you want to try some stuff with. And if you don't, and you're seeing this and you're not a part of the Hollow Down Facebook group, look down the show notes and go find it. And there are quite a few of us in there that like to do trades like this to try new things. So that's
We're
also
a very welcome community.
very welcome community. We try our best to keep it family oriented. It is small growth on purpose because we are as stringent as possible with myself and a couple other moderators, keeping out scammers and keeping out scalpers and things of that nature. So I'd rather slow positive growth than booming growth that creates problems. So
shoot, I'm a moderator even though I'm not a moderator. I try to keep those people out.
I know you catch stuff that we don't. You're like, hey, go fix this. So
I'm like FBI when I see profiles. I'm like, let me do some research.
Yep. So we try to keep it family oriented in that sense of more personable relationships, because the friendship therapy that we reference on this show, it's the whole concept of what we do. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or hate mail, all the like, you can send an email or comment on the video down below. And if you're hearing this on podcast format, you can send an email to thehollowdown@gmail.com as well. We do reference those, we read those, and we enjoy all of the feedback of all natures, good, bad, and indifferent. But Justin, as always, appreciate you coming out, and thanks for jumping on with just me and you to talk about this special smoke right here. It was another good time, brother.
Yes, sir. Always a pleasure.
Well, y'all down in YouTube land, y'all know the drill. Till next time, stay safe and hollow down.